Hello and welcome to Talking Tullahoma. I am your host, Kelly Lepchinsky, and I'm here today to talk about the 68th Annual Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce Christmas Parade hosted by Stan McNabb Automotive. Executive Director, hope not only did I get it right.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Now, and we've also got Trent McNabb here from Stan McNabb Automotive. So we've got a lot to talk about today. We do this every year, 68th Annual. You guys have been sponsoring for at least a decade now, a little more than that.
That's right, yeah.
So what have we got going on? We got grand marshals to talk about. We got a theme to talk about. We've even got a new person in the Santa house. So where do you want to start?
Well, first, I would love to get started with just a sincere thank you to our sponsor. This is the largest community event that takes place in Tullahoma, and lots of planning that goes into place. But of course, we couldn't do it without Stan McNabb Automotive and all of our other sponsors who help make it possible. And so just a sincere thank you, and to the committee, because obviously it's not just a small team putting this event together. So lots and lots and lots of people that help out. So
When do people start registering to put their floats in the parade? When does that open up?
Well, registration is open now.
Wow.
And so the registration opened, I believe it was October 1st, and it will close on December 2nd.
Wow. And the parade is the 6th?
Friday, December 6th. Yes.
All right. I know it's always the first Friday of December. What date that falls on is a matter of just keeping up with that. So, Trent, how are you looking forward to this year? Anything different on your end?
No, I mean, it's going to be fun. Like Hope said, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff happens. I know the Santa float is getting a little work done to it this year, so it got a new roof. It's going to get a paint job, so kind of spruce it up a little bit this year.
Okay. I think I saw it over behind Public Works. Is the city doing that, or have you got someone else?
So I think the city has stored it for us historically, okay. And Russ Barrett helped put a new roof on. Okay. And then we've got it down at our collision center, and we've got a group of volunteers that are going to come paint it actually next Friday. All
right, getting the pros on the job. Santa, good job getting the guys at Stan McNabb to do that to your house. Yeah. Who knew Santa would drive his house down South Jackson or North Jackson? But we look forward to that every year.
Yes.
Now, since we're on the house, I'm going to skip. We're going to save the grand marshals a little bit.
Sure.
And we're going to talk about, we've got a special guest riding along with Santa this year.
We do. Mr. Jerry Holden is well known in this community. He sits out on Lincoln Street and waves as the children are going to school and just really helps to brighten people's mornings. And the community let us know about Mr. Jerry and really advocated for him to play a special role in the Christmas parade. And so Santa extended a very special invitation to Mr. Jerry to come ride on the Santa float, and he's going to wave to everyone just as he does in the mornings. And we do know that his granddaughter will be joining him.
Oh,
and
lovely.
So, yes, very, very, very sweet. And we're just so glad that Mr. Jerry, as he's so fondly known in the community, is able to join us. So.
And you know, it's one of the things you don't think about much because you're so taken with Santa coming out of the chimney. Right. But there are usually people in the house looking out the windows waving. So be sure to look for Mr. Jerry this year.
Yes. And I know that Santa's excited that he's able to join him. So.
Good deal. Now, we also have the parade theme for this year. And I think Stan McNabb was involved in this as well, going to all of the schools. In fact, I think, if I remember correctly, Santa made an appearance to get suggestions for the theme first. And Stan McNabb was very involved in that. Why don't you tell us how we got to getting those suggestions first?
Well, that's right. That's always one of the most fun parts of the parade, is going around to the elementary schools and delivering the forms, because the kids get to pick the theme for the parade each year. And so Santa made a special visit in August. He still had his normal clothes on, even though he came to Tennessee in August. And a big thanks to the police department, the fire department. Santa and I took a red Corvette, and got a police escort, followed by the fire department behind us, and went around to all the schools and to hand those out. And it's fun seeing the kids' reactions when Santa comes into school.
I bet. Now, I'm assuming since he comes in that big red suit and he's always got that beard, that you probably put the top down for him, did you not? Yeah.
We had the cool seats on, the top down, AC.
If you get somebody coming down from the North Pole, you know they want it a little bit cold, and August in Tennessee is not that.
Yeah. No, it's important.
But it was fun. And this year, I think it might have been the school's first time to win But a student from Robert E. Lee, Kyle Oberstadt, third grader at Robert E. Lee, won the contest this year.
Okay.
Which was exciting.
How long did they have to think about this? You dropped off the forms, and then when do you pick them up and make the decision?
Well, we usually ask 2-week turnaround time, and so whenever Santa delivers the forms, we just let them know when we'll be back to pick them up. And so it was about a 2-week turnaround.
And so all the kids in all 4 elementary schools have this opportunity, right? So getting chosen means that's something big for Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't guess we counted the entries, but I mean, there was hundreds of entries. So, I mean, there was a lot to go through, a lot of great ideas. The kids draw pictures along with their theme idea. I mean, it's fun going through them all.
All right, so let's tell them what Kyle's winning. I hope everybody knows the theme of the parade by now, but let's give Kyle his due and let's see what that winning theme was.
It's planes, trains, and candy canes.
That is awesome.
Yes, yes. And, so many elements of what make Tullahoma so special and unique. And so, and it has a wonderful ring to it. And so
It absolutely does.
very,
yeah.
very, very excited. And since Kyle was our winner, Robert E. Lee Elementary receives a free entry into the Christmas parade. And so I'm sure they're working very hard on their floats
Nice.
with PTO partners, CEO partners, great opportunities for those to come together,
Yeah.
those organizations come together.
Okay, so now I know that in recent years, it's just every year it seems like participation goes up and you're always looking for that new number of how many entries can we get into the Christmas parade. So what's the number to beat this year?
The record number for floats is still 119.
Okay.
And so, but for us, anytime we hit 100,
Yeah.
anything over that, is just fantastic. But we like to at least hit 100 every year. And so we're really looking forward to some of the changes that have been made. Of course, the route will begin at the Chamber of Commerce and run to Tullahoma High School this year.
And it was reversed last year, so that is important to remind
Yes.
people that,
Yes,
it's
it was.
back on its traditional course this year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so, we're willing to give anything a try. And, but it really came down to the need for the change, and the reason we made the decision was needing more spacing for staging. So that's why we've moved it up to begin at the chamber to give us more
gotcha.
space.
That backs them all the way down
Right.
South Jackson, a
Yes.
little more, not just starting at South Jackson and running into the viaduct.
Right.
I
And
gotcha.
so because when
Okay.
you have a traffic jam of fire trucks and semi trucks and the Tonka truck, it's there's only so much space you have. So we're very excited about that. And it's great that it's going to start at the chamber. We're very
Oh, yeah.
excited about that. It's a chamber event.
How
and
appropriate.
so,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Yes, we're, again, just so excited.
And of course, LightTube covers that event every
Yes.
year on LightTube, and we're actually partnering with our media partners at P-Head. So we're going to be there right in the middle of the action, no matter which way it goes. But we love to hear that it's going back the other way. I know that's a great ending point for the kids anyway, when they come. A band ends at the high school and can just take all that stuff
Yes.
off. So that's really great to hear this year.
We also have something new to share with everyone is we will have a silent section this year. And so after the floats get to Walgreens, they'll be asked to turn their sirens off. And so anyone with any sensitivities to the noises, like the sirens and the fire trucks, so they'll be encouraged to watch the parade from Walgreens to the high school, and that will be our silent section.
That is awesome.
Of course, there will still be music from the floats and some things like that, but
Yeah.
again, we're going to try to tone down the heavier noises.
In fact, the first time I saw that promoted on Facebook, I immediately sent a text to my brother and told him where to go to watch the Christmas parade,
wonderful.
because his oldest had some difficulties in birth and ended up with some sensitivity.
Yes.
So I loved that. The minute I
Yes.
saw it, I'm like, that is a great idea.
Wonderful. Yes.
So we've got to talk about the Grand Marshal. I know we've got that coming up. We also are going to want to introduce a special guest, because I know we've heard the aptly named Chevy a couple of times during this first segment. We'll leave people hanging on that, and we'll catch all that when we come back right after this. When severe weather strikes, stay informed about power outages with TUA's new online outage map. Visit our webpage at tub.net and click the View Outage Map icon to see the number of customers affected and where they are. Use the bottom icons to find out the cause of the outage and how long it might take to restore power. You can even zoom in to see if the outage is in your neighborhood. Call 348-1795 to report an outage.
Tullahoma Utilities Authority now has a branch at 501 West Lincoln Street. The drive-through only branch located in the old Citizens Tri-County Bank will be open on utility and light to bill due dates and the day before and after a TUA observed holiday. Check a complete list of dates at tullahomautilities.com.
Tullahoma Utilities Authority Light Tube Fiber Internet offers true gigabit service to our customers. We pride ourselves on speed, but the backbone of that speed is local tech support, unmatched customer service, and professional service technicians. To sign up, call 455-4515 to gain the reassurance of light tube reliability.
And welcome back to Talking Tullahoma. Once again, I'm your host, Kelly Lepchinsky. I'm here with Hope Nunley and Trent McNabb, and you can see now that is Chevy. Tell us a little bit about Chevy.
Yeah, Chevy came with us this morning. He goes up to work with me every day. He likes to greet everybody and tell everybody good morning. He also knows where to go to get his treats. Mm-hmm. So he's spoiled rotten.
Yeah, absolutely well-behaved dog off camera the whole first time, but we heard, I think, a yawn. He's just nonplussed about being in the studio. But I wanted to make sure people could see if you heard a dog, yes, you did. Yes, you absolutely did.
Yeah.
Chevy has also made his appearance at some chamber meetings.
Has he?
He's been a part of the Christmas parade committee meeting.
He's on the committee.
Well, there you go. So it could be like a mascot for the whole event.
Yes. In fact, we were talking about something recently that he did not remember, and I said, well, I bet Chevy remember.
Oh, no. Well, now, just for those who are watching at home and can't see the texture, tell us a little what type of breed.
So he's a Portuguese water dog, but the big thing is he doesn't shed. So he's about full grown now, year and a half old. But the dogs, they were originally bred for fishing. Mm-hmm. So they would swim a net from one boat to another. Okay. Is where the breed came about. Look at you. So he likes the water.
And where can everyone see Chevy the night of the parade?
Oh, that's a good question. Chevy will probably be out there watching the parade with us. He'll be up there at the start of it as we start the parade and send the grand marshals off. Yes. You want to go see Kelly, Chevy?
So, okay, now we mentioned as we got the grand marshals. So now I guess we've gone through the whole first segment and we haven't mentioned them, but let's hear who are the grand marshals for this year.
So it's really exciting, and I will say,
hi, baby, come on down.
Chevy, come here, face. The grand marshal. I mean, we had so many nominations this year. I want to say there was 200 nominations.
208.
Oh wow!
And so, which is just great, and so many people worthy of being the grand marshal. But this year, RJ and Sandy Hayes were selected, which, you know, have just been so involved in the community for such a long time that it's really just a great fitting and good to recognize them. And, you know,
the first two things I think of, like you said, they've done so much, but the first two things when I think of them, I think of Sandy because she was the executive director of United Way for so long, and that she was very, very tied to that. And then RJ, you know, he's done everything. I don't know if you've follow him on Facebook. If you don't, it's a real treat. Find RJ Hayes on Facebook. He's done literally everything. But in town, when I think of him, I think of building. I think of the courtyard stage behind South Jackson. His activity with South Jackson has been substantial. And so those are the two places that I most think of them, but they've done so much more than that. Are there some other things that stand out to you that you can think of about them, or just...
Well, RJ was honored earlier in the year with the Boy Scouts and his efforts there. And I think they are just one of those couples that love Tullahoma, love the community, and their resume was, just pages and pages and pages. And I think a lot of people in the committee were surprised that they have not been honored with this yet. And so it just seemed like such a great fit. And when we surprised them at the October coffee, RJ shared after the announcement had been made with us that he and Sandy were recently riding in the car together, and she was, reflecting back and talking about things. And she said, one thing that I'd really love is to be the Grand Marshal of the Christmas parade. And so it just was perfect timing.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And we're just so excited to honor them.
And to Hope's point, at the coffee, getting them there, they thought, I think Sandy was a past president of the chamber.
She is past president.
And so I think the storyline was, hey, we want to recognize the past presidents as a way to make sure they were in attendance with friends and others there. So they were completely surprised with the announcement, which made it fun.
Yeah,
well,
that's got to be hard to do.
Sandy had nominated RJ for the Grand Marshal, and so that's why she thought she was there.
Okay.
And so there was a little
So she
ruse
might have
on-
been actually trying to draw something out of him by saying, one thing I would really like to do is be Grand Marshal, and she might have been waiting for him to say,
Maybe.
you know.
Or maybe it was him that maybe it was. Anyway, I do remember one of them nominated the other one, and so it was very special, very sweet.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And I asked him after the event too, how do they get you there? I know you come to these often. They come to the Chamber Coffee quite a bit, but you don't come to all of them.
Right.
So how do they make sure that you're coming to this one? And he had said, well, because he does so much for South Jackson. The Greg had just called him and said, hey, I need something. Is there a time you could come up? And he's like, oh yeah, we'll be up there tomorrow for the Chamber Coffee. So they didn't even have to use a lot of subterfuge to get him up there. But I was watching RJ film the announcement, and then all of a sudden it was them.
Yeah.
He's like, what do I do with my phone now? I'm not, I'm. So it was a really nice little moment to see them surprised.
It was, and you could see the emotion behind their reaction, and just very sincere gratitude.
Yeah.
And so
So now tell us what being Grand Marshal means. What are their duties or honors that come with that position?
So we'll honor them again the night before the Christmas parade. So Thursday, December 5th, back at South Jackson, we'll have the Grand Marshal reception.
Right.
So we invite, and it's open to everybody. RJ and Sandy will be there to honor them. We'll be lighting the Christmas tree there outside South Jackson, and just have food and drinks there, and invite everybody to come out. I believe it's 5 o'clock on the Thursday evening.
That sounds right.
And Santa will be in attendance at the tree lighting, and so great photo ops. And then the Trees of Christmas at South Jackson Performing Arts Center will be taking place. And so many times they allow everybody who's attended the reception to go in and enjoy the Trees of Christmas, and you get to vote. And so it really is just a very festive, fun evening, family friendly. And so bring your families and just help us celebrate.
Absolutely. And just in case anyone hasn't taken part in that event yet, I mean, Trees of Christmas is the whole hallway of South Jackson is lined with trees that have been sponsored by area businesses or nonprofits, and they've decorated them sometimes in accordance with their own personal themes, sometimes just in some Christmas theme, but it's always different. It's always a fun event. And like you said, you get to come in and see it on the night of the Grand Marshal lighting without it being everyone coming out for intermission for the show we hope you go see at Christmas time, whatever that may be. I've forgotten their schedule for this year, but it runs, we can vote on it for the first several days of December until after the Christmas parade, and then usually it stays up during the shows that are running in December. But so it's all a tree theme, lighting the Christmas tree. You can go in and see trees. The next day you come back out on the tree-lined Jackson Street and watch the Christmas parade roll down the road with planes, trains, and candy canes.
That's right.
Now, have you gotten any sort of sneak peek at anybody's designs yet for floats, or is it mid-October or late October, a little early to be expecting that?
No sneak peeks, but really it's because we are also focused in renovating Santa's house.
Right.
And so we did, the chamber polled the public, and we said, what would you like to see Santa's house? Because it has looked the same for about 20 years.
Oh, so this isn't just a refresh.
Oh,
He's getting a reno.
Yes. Yes. There is a transformation happening, and So it's going to be a gingerbread house. Yes, we polled the
Awesome.
public, and that was what the public chose. And so anybody who has experience and wants to help, we invite you to come volunteer and help with Santa's house. But excited to transform it a little bit because it has looked the same for a while. And so I was actually told it was built for 1 year, and then we've used it for the last 20 or so years. And so.
Well, good deal. Well, guys, we got a little more to talk about, but we do have to take another commercial break. So we're going to do that. We'll be right back with more right after this. Did you know that Tullahoma Utilities Authority has a solar farm right here in Tullahoma? For as little as $4 a month, you can support solar energy production and breathe a little easier, knowing you're taking positive action to reduce your carbon footprint. Call 455-4515 today. When severe weather strikes, stay informed about power outages with TUA's new online outage map. Visit our webpage at tub.net and click the View Outage Map icon to see the number of customers affected and where they are. Use the bottom icons to find out the cause of the outage and how long it might take to restore power. You can even zoom in to see if the outage is in your neighborhood. Call 348-1795 to report an outage.
Never miss your favorite shows again. For an additional $7 a month along with your digital television service, LightTube Cloud DVR lets you record up to 8 programs at the same time, receive 500 gigabytes of cloud storage, and whole home DVR. Call TUA Customer Service to add LightTube Cloud DVR to your digital television service today at 455-4515.
And welcome back to Talking Tullahoma. Once again, I'm Kelly Lepchinsky here with Hope Nunley and Trent McNabb. And we had a little commercial break conversation. So much good stuff came out that now I'm worried about we're going to run out of time. But you had a little tidbit about our grand marshals that I thought was fun to share.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting fact, but RJ and Sandy's birthdays are close together, day apart, and it just happens to be New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Or their two birthdays.
What are the, I mean, I could see getting married with your birthdays being that close, but what are the odds they'd be, you know, I mean, I'm technically a year older than you and it's one day.
That's right.
So, okay, so we have that. We also want to talk about parade safety. We've got a little more levity to get to, but let's get through the safety parts too, just to make sure we get it in, because new to the parade within the last couple of years is allowing candy. That wasn't even allowed before, but there are some specific rules, right?
Well, the rule was always you can't throw candy from your float. And so when people would ask questions about loopholes, I would just remind them that you can't throw candy from your float. And so whatever loophole you'd like to utilize. So really what we encouraged last year, we did the candy clause, is encouraging people to go to the crowds with their candy because we want to keep the children off the roads. We want everybody to stay safe during the parade. And so that's the encouragement, is for people to go to the crowds and not the crowds coming into the streets.
Right.
To pick things
Well, I mean,
up.
you got to think about it, because as adults, we don't look at a parade the same way a child does. But a
No.
child is seeing all these great cartoon characters or stuffed characters that they're anime, Grinch, whatever it is, and then candy canes and all this great stuff that they want to go up, they want to touch, but these are all moving vehicles.
Yes.
And you don't want your child running out in the street. So it is definitely for the safety of the child that we have to have some sort of rules in place. But giving them candy is not against the rules. You just got to do it safely.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's awesome. We had one other tidbit that I have forgotten we talked about during the break. And you wouldn't remember it? No, so it's not just me that went blank on it. That's good. At least now I don't feel so off kilter. All right, so we've got planes, trains, and candy canes. happening on December 6th.
Correct.
On the streets of Jackson Street, headed toward the high school, with Grand Marshals Sandy and R.J. Hayes.
Yes.
Mr. Jerry in the house with Santa Claus in a
Yes.
new gingerbread house, and it's all sponsored by Stan McNabb.
Well, the parade is sponsored by Stan McNabb. Santa's house is sponsored by Smart Bank.
I did not know that.
And
well, there you
so-
go.
Yes. And again, we have many sponsors that contribute. And so there is cash prize money for our winning floats. So just really encourage everybody to keep that in mind while you're making your floats. And of course, there's a President's Award. Our president each year gets to choose their favorite float. And then all of the winners are recognized at our December Chamber Coffee. And that's where they receive their prize money and some photos and recognition in that way. And then we've also invited representatives from the different businesses that help support the parade to help with the judging. And so they get to help with that as well. So just doing everything that we can to bring more and more people into the event.
And that judging actually happens before the parade even begins to float, because you'll notice when you watch the parade that those awards are carried out in banners ahead of the winning float. And there are a lot of different categories for that. I mean, Jingle Bell Float is always one that catches my attention, but business or civic or nonprofit, these are all, so you could do a great float and have more than one chance
Oh, yes.
of winning. You're not just going to be, well, I didn't get first place, I don't have a chance, because you might be in a different category.
Yes, there's a first and second place for each one. And so, but just encourage everyone to come out, enjoy the parade. And we're just so excited for Friday, December 6th.
And I think you already mentioned the Tonka truck, but I just can't tell you how excited I get every year to see that Tonka truck come down, because the thing is huge. I mean,
is.
I would love to see what that thing actually does in its real life. You know?
I've been told that they can actually park that Tonka truck in the back of another Tonka truck. And so if you can even imagine what that one
No,
would look like, but it
I
wouldn't clear
can't.
the light poles. You know, I have said for many years that, so I've had the privilege of riding in Santa's house with my children. So we did get to wave to everyone one year, but my next goal is to ride in the Tonka truck.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, there's a goal to end on, friends. We have run out of time, but look for Hope Nunley in a Tonka truck at a Christmas parade near you, maybe 70th annual. Right now, we're at the 68th. Thank you for watching. We hope you'll join us next time right here on Talking Tullahoma.